and welcome to today's episode of Linking In with Louise. So today on the podcast, I am going to walk you through my 4-part framework that I have put in place that helps me to help my clients. Now, this is a framework that I've developed over the last 12 months or so, and I use it when I'm working with both my corporate clients in terms of hosting a workshop for teams, and also when I'm working with my VIP clients. So that's when someone books a one-to-one training session with me. I really enjoy both, I have to say. Today I have completed a workshop with a team of 7, all held online, of course, because of coronavirus, and all the workshops are online at the moment. But actually what is wonderful, because it means that you can book this workshop no matter where you are in the world for your team, and I can help you with your team. And it was really, really enjoyable. So I think what was really interesting was that one of the people who attended the training said to me they were quite surprised because they actually enjoyed it. And after they sent me a message after the workshop was finished, about 2 hours later, so they had gone and had their dinner, or they'd had their lunch, and they sent me a message and said that they really enjoyed it and said they were surprised. So putting it all into action now, and it's fun. Who knew? Thank you. That just makes my day, getting that kind of message from somebody, because I like teaching people in a way that leaves them wanting to use LinkedIn. And that is the same whether I'm working with you one-to-one, I'm working with you and your team, or I'm working with you one-to-one and then with your team, whichever way you want to do it. But either way, I work on the same basis of how to use LinkedIn, and that is my 4-part framework. So you could say it's like, I kind of talk about it as being like a jigsaw puzzle. So there's 4 main pieces to this puzzle, and each piece is as important as the rest, and each piece really depends on the other 3 pieces being in place for everything to work together. So what are these 4 things? Number 1 is your LinkedIn profile. I see this as really the foundation to everything that you do on LinkedIn. It's kind of like the key piece that you need to have completed. And it's amazing to me how many people I come across who have no about section, no summary in their entire profile. And without that, you're really not using LinkedIn to your advantage. And what do I mean by that? If someone sees your profile, or they put whatever it is that you do into search, and they come across your profile and they click on your profile and it's not complete, it's really a wasted opportunity. And it is something that you can have written in a day. And if you don't know what to write and you struggle with that, reach out to me. That's something I help people with. I write profiles for people, or we can book an hour together and walk through what to put in your profile. It really showcases your knowledge, your expertise, your products, your services, and helps you get found by your ideal client. So number 1 is your profile. I will come back to that later. Number 2 is your network. So if you're a listener to the podcast, you will know that I firmly believe that you should curate or build a network around you on LinkedIn that is not only going to be useful to you, so it's full of potential customers, clients, collaborators, but also one that you like engaging with. So I think that was one of the comments that came back about this person was having fun on LinkedIn, is that they see it completely differently now. They see it as a place to build a network full of people they're interested in engaging with. And I think that's really, really important. I don't go by the build as big a network as you can, because more people will then see your stuff adage. That's not how I work with people. I would much rather you build a small but mighty network full of people who are going to help you to move forward in business. We'll get to that bit too. So that's number 1, profile. Number 2, your network. So number 3 is, what kind of content do you share on LinkedIn? And for a lot of people, this can be something that they may have their profile in place and they've got connections and they've got a network of 700 people or 2,000 people, and then they don't post anything because they don't really know what to post, or they are unsure of what to post, or what they posted before didn't get any engagement and they were disappointed. Lots and lots of reasons why people don't post content on LinkedIn. But if you don't post any content on LinkedIn, you are really cutting yourself off at the knees, because people are not going to see they're not going to see your profile because there's no activity there. And they're not going to understand what it is that you do. And I've very firm beliefs about what kind of stuff you should be posting on LinkedIn. And there's room for chat and a bit of fun, a bit of crack, as we say here in Northern Ireland. But at the end of the day, your content should be showcasing what it is that you do in business, because it is a business networking site. And now, if you're just using it to connect with people that you work with or colleagues and have a bit of fun, then that's absolutely fine. But if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably because you want to use LinkedIn to actually raise your profile, raise your visibility, win business, make sales, grow your business. And that is exactly what I'm all about. So if you fall into that camp, then you're in the right place for a start. But also, nobody really is going to be interested if all your posts are just chitty-chatty posts. Okay, so save that stuff for different social media sites. That does not mean that I behave like the LinkedIn police telling people this is not what you should post on LinkedIn, because that is definitely not my personality type. Each to their own. I'm just saying, if you want to be strategic about LinkedIn, then share content that showcases what it is that you do and attracts your ideal client or customer to you. So what's the fourth thing then? If we've got profile, network, and content, what do you think the fourth thing is? Dramatic pause. The fourth thing is using LinkedIn Messenger. And I'm going to tell you a lot more about that at the end of this episode. But if you remember that LinkedIn is all about building relationships with your network, you really want to get into having conversations with your network, both out in the newsfeed, but also taking it into Messenger and having those conversations that lead to that person making a call to book in with you, to book a discovery call, to get on the phone, to get in your email inbox. And then you are one step further to actually making a sale, being introduced to the right people, collaborating, and growing your business. So those are the 4 parts of the framework that I help people with on LinkedIn. We will go a little bit more into each of those details now. But before we do, I want to invite you, if you are listening to this podcast on the Wednesday that it is released, then I would like to invite you to join my free training that is on this evening, Wednesday, the 30th of September, 6 p.m. UK time. If you missed it, don't worry, I will be running it again in October. But if you're catching this on time, come and join us. Go to socialbni.com/free-training. I think I need to learn to give out my dashes in my URLs, because it's a bit of a hash whenever you say it on a podcast. But if you go to my LinkedIn profile, Louise Brogan on LinkedIn, you will see the link to that in my cover photo on my personal profile. And you are very, very welcome to join that training. So it is actually a training. It is a 45-minute training followed by a Q&A, and then obviously an invitation to come and work with me if I am the kind of person you think you can learn from, and who's going to help you with your LinkedIn. Okay? But you can come and watch the training for free, obviously, anyway. There's no obligation to do anything else. It is a free training session. All right, so let's go a bit further into these 4 different puzzle parts. Your LinkedIn profile. Okay, start at the top. Get your foundations in place. Make sure you've got a good headshot photograph for your profile photograph. Make sure it is visible to your network as well. write your headline. Your headline is the bit that if you don't write it yourself, LinkedIn pulls from your experience section. So it might say something like Louise Brogan, attorney at law, or Louise Brogan, human resources manager, unless you've written this yourself, in which case it will say something that attracts your ideal client. So mine says LinkedIn consultant, and then actually at the moment it says podcast movement speaker. I'm speaking on a panel at Podcast Movement. I'm so excited. If you are going to Podcast Movement, come and attend our session. It's about how to not get your podcast pitch deleted. And I'm on there with Julie Fry, Melina Palmer, and Ian Anderson Gray. It's going to be really fun. That's complete by the by. But yes, it says Podcast Movement speaker in my headline at the moment. And it also says LinkedIn trainer. And then it tells you that I live in the Belfast metropolitan area, which is something Belfast has never been called in its entire life. So it's generally called Belfast City. Anyway, write the headline and don't just let LinkedIn pull it from your experience section. All right, so the next bit down then is your about summary, or your the bit that a lot of people write as a potted history of what they've done in their career. But what you really want to do here is write about how you can help your audience. Make sure this really showcases what you want to be known for, and always put in a call to action. So invite people to connect with you, to give you an email, to book a discovery call. Mine says all of those things. If you want to book a discovery call with me to see how I can help you or your team, go to my LinkedIn profile. In the About section, there's a link to book a discovery call with me. It says 15 minutes, but it usually goes slightly longer than that. So that's About summary. Then underneath your About summary, you've got the featured section. And this is where you can highlight articles, blog posts, speaking gigs you've been in, your own posts or articles from LinkedIn, maybe your YouTube videos. These can all go in your featured section. So you can see now we're really starting to build up a profile here. And then all the rest of the bits need filled in as well. So you want to include your experience, your education, if you've been a volunteer, your skills, and your recommendations, honours and awards. So make sure the whole thing is filled out properly, because that is going to be really, really improving your chances of being found on LinkedIn in the first place, never mind someone actually reaching out to connect with you, or better still, getting in touch because they want to work with you. So that's the first piece of your jigsaw puzzle. That is your LinkedIn profile. Okay. So the second part of your LinkedIn profile is building a good network around you. And like I said before, to me, this is more about quality than quantity. It's about building a genuine network of people around you who you want to connect with. You're interested in what they have to say. They're interested in what you have to say. And they're going to engage with your stuff and vice versa. I'm not really sure what I think the optimum number of people in your LinkedIn network is. I know that on any given day, if I go in and all the stuff I see in my news feed is from people that I'm not really interested in what they're saying, I will just unfollow a lot of people so that that LinkedIn knows what I want to see. And the more you engage with your network, the people that you want to see their posts, the more you do that, the more often those people's posts will show up in your newsfeed. So let the algorithm see what you're interested in. It will show you more of that. And don't just accept everybody's connection request. I did a webinar recently for women in film and TV for the UK, and they were asking, what do you do? Do you accept every connection request? And I tend to err on the side of positivity, but if I see somebody is talking about, building a business based on like a network marketing type of business, that's not where I work. That's not the area that I work in. So I'm probably not going to accept those connection requests. There's nothing wrong with that industry whatsoever. It's just those are not my target audience. Also, let me think who other